Alright, I have a Stan's ZT Arch 29er Chris King heavy duty hub with a Shimano cassette. I'm going to convert it to the SRAM XO 11 speed, and I've got all the parts here. Here's the speed XO, or XX1, or XO1, excuse me. And then I have the rear ISO XD drive complete assembly for the cassette to fit on. First I have to remove the current cassette, use the chain whip, and if you notice my workbench, since it doesn't fit well on the bike stand, 3 different bike stands, so I used 2 sawhorses and a creeper with a handy little wheel floor stand. Alright, got the cassette tool, got the chain whip. Shouldn't be too tight. Release that, unscrew that, and it should take that retaining cap off with the steel washer intact. And then 3 of these should pop right off. Looks like that one needs a little persuasion. There we go. Yeah, I can see the wax build up from my what is it I use? Clean Ride wax lubricant. Now this should just slide right off, like so. Put that aside. I shouldn't need this. Yeah, it screws into the driver body, so I'm not gonna be able to screw that in. Alright, removing the ISO drive should be pretty simple. Should be able to pull and twist counterclockwise at the same time. So a little, well, got ahead of myself. Got to remove the axle. Got excited there. Clean this off a bit. This little steel cap is on the Maxell version. I think it's the 145 or 147 axles. Doesn't have the little end cap. It's got this little steel pressed on cap. Turn it around, do the other side. The other side again is a bit different. It's got the like a retaining knuckle cap, end cap. Nice. Should just pop off. There we go. And I know this takes either a 3/32 or a 2.5 millimeter hex Allen wrench. There we go. Just loosen that up. That should do it. And then it's got a little helper hole here, and your wrench should fit right in there. Hold the other end of the axle and just give it a twist. Yeah, it's still a bit tight. Probably should have kept that end cap on. There we go. And it's not too many threads, so it should just slide right off. There we go. Put those aside for later. We will be needing those. Put all this over here on my workbench. and remove the axle. It should come out the drive side. Little pop. There we go. It's got one little washer in there that keeps it from coming out. Now, I want to make sure that that's nice and safe. That's where the ring gears drive across. All right, the driver body should just pull out and then a little tug counterclockwise. There we go. And yeah, I gotta clean that up a little bit, and then we'll be ready to put in the XD body. All right, so I've been cleaning this up. As you can see, it was it's been a while, so I didn't want to spray anything in there, so I just put some lube in and just been wiping it back off. But it looks pretty good. Everything looks intact. No metal pieces floating around in there. That's always good. Okay, that is toast. All right, so I have ring drive lube, and it is specifically for Chris King hubs, and you just need a little layer on these internal bearings, a little here, and that should do it. All right, so let's put the driver body in. I lubed it with the ring drive lube, just one little layer across the what are those called? Ring bearings, I guess, and some across the internal splines. This should slide in, kind of line up the hubs inside, and it should snap in. Okay, next is the axle, and again a little lube in the axle. Skinny end in first, fat end goes at the hub. Seat it in there nicely. Put the end cap on. That just snaps on, no big deal. And let's put this retaining, I don't know what to call this. It's for the heavy duty axles. Screws in. Let's give it a little help here. I'm just turning the axle, and that's as tight as I can get it. All right, tighten up the retaining screw. It's about 1 Newton meters, I think, is what they call for. Put this cap back on. Snaps on, and it's time to put the body on. Cassette body. All right, I put some Park lube inside the screws or the threads. And even though it does have a small spline, there really isn't a smaller spline that matches like the Shimano. So I'm just going to line up the splines. Doesn't really matter There. And then the cassette tool should screw the internal part of this cassette body. A little different than the Shimano. And it just sort of press fits the cassette onto the XD hub. And I just got that as tight as I could do it by hand. Don't want to put too much pressure on there. Feels pretty tight. There, that's complete. That's the install of the SRAM X01 1x11 cassette. Next will be the crank, the chain, and the derailleur.